Hi there, I'm Martin, and in this presentation I'd like to show you the new timeline export that's been added to the master animation. Now if you saw the other video about master animations, you'll already be aware of how they can take multiple animation groups in a scene and combine them in a single timeline. So for example, I have this master animation here with left in. I play it and both the animations inside will be played together. Now if I just go to the animation view, you can see left in and left lower third in. Now what we can do with exports is we can also connect them to the timeline. So let's start with our lower third text left. This is an example of a lower third text. Let's just change this so we can see how the value is changing inside the render engine view here. Now you'll see this drop down button next to it. This allows you to create an array of data for the export. So you can preload different settings in here without going to the controller, which will allow you to test how different exports will affect the scene during playback. And we can also use this array to send data into the scene from the timeline. So first of all, that's an example of a lower third text. So let's have main news headlines in here, and we'll add a value. And maybe here, coming up next, and add this value. So now you can see that I can cycle between these exports like so. And you'll see also up here in the tree that this value is changing to show which value will be sent into the scene. So we'll start with coming up, this example, lower third. Now if I go back to my animation view, I have lower third in and lower third. What I can do is I can right click up here and I can add an export to the master group. So if we go to lower third text left, you'll see these three pieces of data that come from my array. So in this frame, I'm going to set data item number 1, and in frame 150, I'm just going to add a second piece of data. Now what will happen is when I play the animation, it will send this export for the first data array here. And if I hover over it, a little pop-up will appear showing the name of the export and the value that will be sent and which index it is. If I hover over this one, we'll see coming up next is appearing here. So we rewind the animation, and now when we hit play, it comes in with main news headlines, timeline marker approaches frame 150, and it switches to coming up next. So I can now control precisely when I want to time my animations and their exports through the master animation groups. It becomes really easy to time how to send an export during a transition so that you don't have to do this work in the control surfaces afterwards. So this is a really big time-saving feature, and it's great for the designers who want to check how the scene will react and how things should be timed properly during the production. Thanks very much for watching.